What's good, people? Today we are back with another episode of the What Happened If a Billionaire Invested into the Romanian Football League. Now, we've already done episode 1 of this. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you haven't already seen it. But basically, we've already looked into the first 5 years of this experiment. Today, we're going to go another 5 years into the future, so 10 years in total. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the Romanian Football League higher up the competition reputation pyramid. We want to try and get and break the top 10, which I think we've already done in the last episode. We're going to kind of see how it's developed from there. What sort of transfers, what sort of players have the likes of Steaua Bucharest and Astra Giurgiu and Dinamo Bucharest been able to get to come to the Romanian Football League? What teams have been promoted? What teams have outperformed what they'd usually perform? All stuff like that, really. So, and essentially how these teams have got on in Europe. Now, the Romanian teams, it's mostly Steaua Bucharest and Astra Giurgiu in recent times that have done things in Europe. They haven't really broken that far into the competition, but with the extra fundage and reputation, we're hoping that they'll be able to acquire better players. So let's go and have a look in the Romanian League first of all. Let's go and have a look at who has been winning the competitions. So we're going to go into the first league first of all. And we're going to have a look at the past winners. Now, as we can see here, this is where we went to last time. Bucharest have added another 5 wins, so they've won 10 league titles in a row. Astra Giurgiu have finished runner-up on 7 of those occasions, well, 6 of those occasions. Dinamo Bucharest 3 times, but Steaua Bucharest have dominated. Let's have a quick look at last season. And they've won it quite handsomely, haven't they, really? So let's have a look at the Champions players. So they've won it by 11 points last season. They won it by 7 points the season before. The season before that, just by a point over Dinamo Bucharest. Time before that, 8 points clear of Astra Giurgiu. And obviously 6 points clear in the last one we simulated. So let's have a look at the transfers, what has gone on. So we'll go, first of all, we'll go right the way back to... We've already done, I think we've done that season last time. So we've got this season here, and it's Steaua Bucharest who have made the lion's share of the transfers. Luca Di Giacomo from Napoli to Steaua Bucharest here for £73 million. Now he's a regen Italian complete forward who scored 100 goals in 164 games for Steaua Bucharest, and that's probably money well spent there, I'd say, given his return rate on the goals. Razvan Marin signed from Standard for £29 million Romanian. Has since been let go. He's played 111 games for Bucharest, scoring 32 goals. But he has now been let go. He's available on a free transfer for any club that may wish to snap him up. And to be honest, I don't think it'll be long before that happens. Dayot Upamecano signed from Red Bull. Ball-playing defender, has played 150 games, scoring 15 goals, and he's developed into a really solid ball-playing defender there from Red Bull. Federico Tivulzio from Juventus. Now he's another regen. He's an Italian 22-year-old left-back. He's now playing for CS Craiova, so we'll go into the future a bit more here. And as we can see again, it is Steaua Bucharest leading the way with the transfers, bringing in Mohamed El Yunusi, Leonardo Venturelli, Jacob Knudsen. Astra Giurgiu spending a bit more this time with Matisse Verhelst, Gerard Rossell, and I'm not even going to even bother pronouncing that one, and Ante Rebic. Part of 4 transfers of the top 7 have gone to Astra Giurgiu, so they're improving their squad. CFR Cluj have brought two players in from Athletic Bilbao, courtesy of Javier Santos and Xavier Blanco. Top signing though is Mohamed El Yunusi, who's been brought on and is now at Arsenal, so has gone the opposite way. Skip again to the next season, and it is Steaua Bucharest again, massively leading the way here. But CFR Cluj with a couple of big transfers, and FC Voluntari with the double figure, transfer. Top signing though was Ludovic Soulard from CS Bastia to Bucharest, 24-year-old French advanced playmaker, and he's done really well since joining Bucharest, 69 games. played, 8 goals scored. It's been a good investment, currently valued at 25.5 million, so they've probably overpaid a little bit there, but they've got plenty of cash. That isn't the end of the world. Paul Lirola, in from Villarreal, would have been with Juventus when the game started, has since moved to Sassuolo, to Villarreal before staying at Steaua Bucharest now for 4 seasons, and he's developed into a really solid right back. Really solid indeed. We'll keep going another one, and again it is Steaua Bucharest. There were 2, 4, 6 of the top transfers here, this time bringing in Fred van der Hart from Ajax, Laurie Vasseur from Stade Malherbe Caen, Marcus Edwards from Stuttgart, formerly of Tottenham, Fabio Bongiovanni from Genoa, Kingsley Coman from Paris Saint-Germain, and Emmanuel Ajay Soa from Anderlecht. They've dominated there, and we'll have a quick look at Fred van der Hart. Now, he's a goalkeeper, valued at £18 million, and he looks really good, doesn't he? Steaua Bucharest are really building. Although, in the 25-26 season, Dinamo Bucharest sold Ismael Pinheiro to Astor Giurgiu for 27.5 million, topping the charts with the spending. And this is the guy that they brought in. He's a complete forward. He's got good stats. Could be a bit better with the jumping reach and the teamwork, but generally speaking, he's got high stats, above 15 for most of the stats required for that position. You'd suggest he's been a good purchase. He's only scored 5 goals in 17 games though since arriving from Dinamo Bucharest, having scored 44 in 67 before then. And most recently, we have got less spending this time around. Quite a few transfers going out, but Bucharest leading the line again. Theo Hernandez topping the charts, 28-year-old French left-back / wing-back. He's done well since arriving. He hasn't played any games though, but you'd imagine that was quite a recent purchase. Sebastian Driussi, a Argentinian striker, complete forward, is where he's best at. He's played 5 games in the American World Cup South American qualifying section, scoring 7 goals with 2 man of the matches. He scored 151 goals in 188 games for Jiangsu, and he has been a good purchase indeed for them. I think he'll do quite well for Steaua Bucharest. So that's the transfers. Obviously there's a lot more that I could have gone through, but we haven't in this case. We will, however, have a look at the Steaua Bucharest first team now. As we can see here, looking at the potential abilities, they've got a team full of absolute quality players, most of them above the 150 rating. They've got a lot of complete footballers in this squad. They've got Sergei Yemoleyev, a really good Russian midfielder, looking really good for them. So let's have a look at how they have done in Europe. Now, they wouldn't have done anything this time around. Let's go and have a look at the in the group stages of the Champions League, they got through the group but met Benfica in the first knockout round leg, and they were beaten 1-0 in the second leg after drawing the first one with Benfica at home. So they're out of the Champions League in that time. Year before that, they played in the Champions League. Didn't get through the group stages looking at that, and then ended up in the Europa League. They got through the first knockout round with a 3-0 victory over Olympiacos in the second leg, but were beaten by Valencia in the second knockout rounds, courtesy of 3-1 and 2-1 defeats at the hands of the Spanish club. Year before that, they got through the Champions League group stages with tough kind of squad there with Lyonnais and PSV, and even Ludogorets to some extent. They beat Ludogorets well, but they did meet the might of Manchester United again in the first knockout rounds, and unfortunately were beaten both times, so they didn't get through again. They haven't had much success in Europe. Time before that, they got knocked out of the group stages. They had a tough group with Athletic Madrid and Manchester United and Red Bull Salzburg. They then beat AC Milan in the Europa League first knockout rounds with a 3-0 win in the first leg, drew the second leg, but Leicester City knocked them out in the second knockout rounds, and that was the end of that for them. And the time before that, they managed to get through to they were booted out of the Champions League. They didn't qualify, but they got through into the Europa Cup. They got through the first leg with a victory over Shakhtar. They then beat Benfica in the second knockout rounds. They then beat Sevilla in the quarterfinals before beaten by Liverpool in the semi-finals 3-2 and 3-1. And they haven't had any success in Europe, unfortunately. Now we're going to go back to the Romanian League, and as we can see here, they're currently sat 8th in the competition reputation, head of the Belgian First Division, head of the Russian, the Greek Super League, the Turkish. So they've gone from 9th to 7th, and then they've stayed at 8th for 3 seasons. And Steaua Bucharest have dominated. So let's have a look at the second league. Now, the second league is currently 30th in the competition reputation. At the end of our last one, they were 32nd. They've since risen to 28th, then to 29th, dropped down to 31st, but have remained at 30th now for 2 seasons. Now they're ahead of the Jupiler League, which is the second division in Holland. They're ahead of the Norwegian Premier Division, the Austria First Division. They're just behind the Spanish Second and German Second Divisions, and the Serbian Super League. Let's go and have a look who have been winning the Romanian Second League. Now, the last time we looked at this, it was CS Afumati, I believe, or it was Voluntari perhaps. But since then, Academica Clinceni, CS Craiova, Olimpiu Satu Mare and FC Brasov have lifted the second league title. We'll have a look now at the transfer business which has been conducted. We'll start off with this one here, 21-22, where Mike van der Hoorn was the top purchase for FC Brasov from FC Viitorul Constanta. He now plays for Brentford after playing 123 games for Brasov, scoring 4 goals. He's a defender. He's now gone to Brentford. Brahim Dari from Heracles to Viitorul Constanta. Now plays for Nottingham Forest in the English leagues. He played 85 games for Viitorul, scoring 15 goals. Let's have a look at the next season. Now the top seat looks like Gazmatan Madias had quite a clear out this season. There's a lot of players that have been sold. A lot of them indeed. They've also brought in a few players that they seem to have quite a bit of a clear out here in this season. Be interesting to see actually how they've got on since 22-23. So this is where they had the clear out. They finished 7th, 5th and then 9th. So they were in the first league when we started this. They're now stuck in the Romanian second league, Gazmatan Madias, and they've gotten rid of a lot of players here. A lot of players indeed. Top signing there was Oguzhan Kasanki, who has gone to Voluntari. Well, it was Togu Mures, it's now at Voluntari. Roaming playmaker / defensive midfielder, valued at 3.5 million, so good bit of business there. More recently, Craiova have sold 2 players for good money to Academica Clinceni, Martin Martina and Jose Carlos Gutierrez for 8 million. Now with Voluntari, and Martin Martina is now with Sepsi after playing 70 games for Academica Clinceni. So players seem to be moving around quite a lot here in this second league. Andrei Oravsek went from Afumati to Barcelona, now valued at 8 million. Hasn't played for Barcelona, but he's on loan at Hamburg. Well, has been on loan at Hamburg, scoring 9 goals from 26. More recently, we have Serdan Markovic from Academica Clinceni. Now, a lot of players have gone out of this club into various others. Voluntari seem to have picked up quite a few, as have Concordia, Shajna and Craiova. They must have got relegated in this season, hence all the players leaving the club. Florentino top signing in the 25-26 season. He's a 19-year-old striker. He is Romanian. He has done well since breaking into the first team of Targu Mures, scoring 9 in 20. He scored 18 in 48 for Sepsi. And he looks quite decent regarding the future of Romanian football. So that'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Florentino, he must have made 2 moves in the same season. Yeah, so he went to Targu Mures first of all. Then he was sold 5 months later to Sepsi for a potential profit, but a loss on the upfront fees. Oscar Perez next in there for Brasov, signed from Gazmatama Diaz. He's a left kind of defensive midfielder / left side of the park midfielder. Strange haircut as well to boot. And then finally, there hasn't been a lot done. The fees have been less in this recent season. There's obviously a lot of free transfers going out here. So let's have a look at how the Romanians have been getting on. So world ranking history for Romanian football. Now, when we started this, they were sat in 22nd. They have then dropped all the way down to 72nd in 2021. But they've had a resurgence. They've gone right the way up to 14th. Dropped down a little bit here. But have risen again to 17th in the world rankings. Slightly better than how they started it on 22nd. So there's been a slight increase. Let's have a quick look at the competitions that they've won. They finished runner-up in the French Youth Invitational in 2024. They haven't done anything in terms of competitions. In the World Cup, they haven't got into the World Cup. They finished fourth in the European Football Group A and 3rd in Group F in 2024. Let's have a look at the records. Is there anything to report here? Lowest world ranking, 72nd in April 2021. Their biggest win came with a 10-0 victory over Andorra in 2023. And that is also the highest scoring game. Razvan Mariner scored 9 goals in a season. He's currently the all-time top goal scorer for Romania with 48 international goals. Most player of the matches is Romario Bensar, who's now available on a free transfer after playing a load of games for Viitorul, then moving to PSV, then back to Craiova before finishing up at Olimpiu Satu Mare in the Romanian second league. He's done really well for them. Highest average rating, Romario Bensar. Most clean sheets, Ionit Radu, who's a really good Romanian keeper, signed from Fenerbahce. He's developed quite well. I might have a look at him for the Steaua Bucharest save, guys. He could be worth looking at for the future. Most goals in a match, Rudolf Wetzer in 1930, so obviously not going to be able to look at that. So yeah, that is a second look at what happens if a billionaire invests into Romanian football. Now, as we can see, the First League has gone from 9th to 8th in the last 5 years. Steaua Bucharest have dominated, winning every bit of league silverware available. The second league have gone from 32nd to 30th. Now they were up to 28th, but they've dropped down a bit. Mixed success here. CS Afumati winning it 3 times. It's changed hands quite a bit in the last 3 years, or 4 years, for example. But yeah, so what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to leave that there for today. We're going to come back again with another episode later in the week, looking at another 5 years into the future. See if we can get them into the top 5 in the competition reputation. Are Steaua Bucharest going to continue to dominate Romanian football? Are they going to do any better in Europe? Now, remember that their best run to date was the Europa League semi-final defeat against Liverpool. They haven't managed to have that kind of run since. They've got through to the qualifying rounds a couple of times, but have faced defeat on both occasions. It'd be interesting to see with another 5 years into the future how they'll get on. So we'll leave that there for today, guys. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a like on the video down below. If you've got any comments to make, if there's any players in particular that you'd like to see how they've developed, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There'll be more content coming now over the next few weeks. We've got the Steaua Bucharest save now into its 3rd season, which is starting to really come to its own now. We're trying to win the Champions League or even the Europa League really with Steaua Bucharest. We haven't managed it yet, but I'm hopeful that we can start to build now. We've got a few finances in the door. But for today, guys, I'm out of time. Catch you again next time.